Before the world learned how to speak, before time had names, before the earth carried the weight of cities, there was only the dark, not the kind that hides behind walls, but the kind that breathes. It moved with the wind, it whispered in the trees, it waited in the cold. The world was young, and humanity was smaller than fear. They wandered across endless plains, where grass whispered secrets to the wind, and herds of beasts thundered like forgotten gods, through forests that swallowed light, where roots twisted like sleeping serpents, and leaves dripped with ancient rain, across mountains that tore the sky, their peaks crowned in eternal snow, where eagles screamed warnings from unreachable heights. Cold bit into their bones, turning marrow to ice. Hunger hollowed their eyes, leaving only hollow voids that stared at nothing. The night was their greatest enemy, a vast living thing that devoured the weak. Every sunset felt like a warning, a crimson sky bleeding out the last light. Every shadow felt alive, crawling closer, hungry for flesh and soul. They did not conquer the world. They begged it to spare them, offering roots, stones, desperate chants to spirits they could not name. Each night, the tribe gathered in silence, their bodies pressed together for fragile warmth, their hearts beating like a single drum against the endless dark. Children clung to their mothers, small hands clutching ragged skins. Elders stared into the fireless dark, remembering lost sons and daughters taken by frost or fang. Hunters held broken tools, stones chipped by endless failure, spears that bent like promises. They survived, but they did not live. Their days were flight, their nights were prayer. Stories passed in whispers, tales of star spirits, of great beasts who once walked as friends, of a time before fear ruled all, until the sky burned. Lightning split the heavens with white fury, thunder roaring like 1,000 enraged mammoths. An ancient tree exploded into flame, its bark cracking, sap boiling. The forest screamed in light and heat. Branches became torches, leaves curled into ash that danced on the wind. The tribe scattered in terror. Some fell, struck by falling embers. Some cried, mothers shielding infants with their bodies. Some believed the world was ending, that the sky gods had finally judged them. They ran blindly through the storm, rain mixing with tears, mud sucking at weary feet. But one man stepped forward. His name was Aaron. Aaron was no chief, no elder. He was a hunter who had lost his mate to the cold 2 winters past, a father whose child had been taken by wolves under the moonless sky. Grief had carved him hollow, yet something deeper stirred, a quiet defiance, a pull toward the impossible. He felt the fire calling to him, not as a weapon, but as a promise, a living thing, dancing, alive, offering light where none had been. He reached into the burning branch, his hands shaking with mortal fear, his eyes reflecting a new sun, golden, fierce, unforgiving. Pain burned through him, skin blistering, nerves screaming, the scent of his own flesh filling the air. But he did not let go. He gripped tighter, tears evaporating on his cheeks, with overpowering agony. He carried the flame back to the tribe, shielding it with his body from rain and wind, stumbling through the storm, a glowing coal, a beacon in his palms. The journey back was a trial, branches whipping his face, mud sliding beneath him, the flame flickering as if testing his resolve. And for the first time, the night stepped back. Warmth filled the cave, a golden glow pushing shadows into corners. Shadows retreated like defeated beasts. Hope was born, fragile, flickering, but real. The tribe gathered around in awe. Children reached out tentatively. Elders wept openly. Hunters dropped their useless tool. They fed the flame with dry twigs, watched it grow, dance, consume. Meat sizzled for the first time, its aroma driving hunger mad. Wounds softened, bones cracked open for marrow. Aren became the keeper. He taught them to feed the flame, to protect it from wind with stone shelters, to carry it with care in hollowed horns or wrapped moss. He showed how fire cooked their food, destroying poisons, unlocking nourishment. Fire hardened their tools. Wood straightened. Stone cracked cleanly. Spears grew sharper, deadlier. Fire kept death away. Wolves circled at a distance. Cold yielded to warmth. But Aren warned them, his voice steady despite scarred hands. This flame is not ours, he said. We are only its guests. Respect it, or it will consume us. They listened. For a while, years passed. Aren taught the young, watched his own children grow strong by the fire's light. He told stories of the first night, of pain and promise. Aren became a story passed from mouth to ear, then a whisper, then a forgotten name, replaced by legend. The first keeper. Fire spread across tribes. Wanderers carried embers in clay pots, shared the gift with distant kin. Villages grew, huts of wood and hide circled around central flames. Paths turned into roads, trodden by traders, bearing meat, tools, tails. Yet fear returned. Transformed, land was claimed with sharpened stakes. Flame was guarded jealously, hoarded like life itself. Walls were built, stone piled high, torches lining the tops. Strength replaced wisdom, power replaced unity. Leaders rose who saw fire as dominion, not guest. They forged weapons hotter, burned forests to clear land, turned the gift into a threat. The fire that once saved them now burned their homes. Rival tribes clashed in the night, torches thrown, huts ablaze, screams rising with the smoke. Blood stained the earth, dark and sticky. Smoke covered the sky, choking the stars that once guided them. Humanity rose, built cities of stone and ambition, harnessed fire for forges and engines, spread across continents, but lost itself in greed, in war, in forgetting the warning. The keeper's tale faded into myth, replaced by gods of thunder and conquest. Yet not all flames die. Some remain hidden in children's eyes, wide with wonder at a candle's flicker. In old songs sung around campfires, melodies carrying echoes of Aaron's pain. In quiet moments, a blacksmith pausing before the forge, a mother warming milk for her babe, a thinker staring into half flames, seeking truth. The memory of Aaron lived on, not in names, but in acts of courage, in the choice to reach despite the burn. And one day, when the world was tired of burning, when cities choked in smog, when weapons threatened to end all light, the question returned, louder than thunder. What does it mean to be human? The answer was never in the fire itself, not in its heat, its power, its destruction. It was in the one who first held it despite the pain. In the courage to embrace the unknown, to nurture rather than conquer, to remember we are guests, not owners, and that flame, the true one, of curiosity, compassion, defiant hope still waits in every heart, willing to reach out, to bear the burn, and bring light back to the dark.